Welcome back to the Daily Drum on WHUR and Sirius XM Channel 141. This is the Insight segment. I'm Harold Fisher. January is National Mentoring Month, a time to recognize the powerful role mentors play in shaping lives. Studies show mentorship improves academic outcomes, confidence, and career success. And yet, millions of young people do not have a mentor. Well, tonight we'll discuss why mentorship matters, the impact it can have on communities, and how investing your time and support today can help shape tomorrow's leaders. My guests tonight have already answered the call and they are looking for others to join them. We're joined tonight by Tull Osman, Outreach Director for the DC Tutoring and Mentoring Initiative, Tanisha Miles, Founder and Executive Director of P31 Girls Incorporated, and Walter Kirkland with the 100 Black Men of America. Thank you all so much for joining this conversation. It is so important. Obviously, this is National Mentoring Month, but national mentoring is a 365 day a year calling for so many in our community. So again, thank you so much for joining this conversation. I want to start with just a few fast facts about the power of mentoring. Uh, 55% of young people with a mentor are more likely to enroll in college. Mentored youth are 46% less likely to use drugs and 27% less likely to drink alcohol. And of course, having a mentor boosts self esteem. It helps young people believe in their ability to succeed. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, I would like for each of you to talk about your organization, what you do and how you get it done. Tull, we can start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, to give you all a little bit of background on my nonprofit, the DC Tutoring and Mentoring Initiative, I've been here for 3 years. And throughout these 3 years, I've done a lot of work with outreach here. So, DCTMI's main mission is to connect community members in the DC metro area with tutoring and mentoring programs all over the city. There are tons all over the city that we work with. Right now, we're partnered with over 60 of them. And so, what we do every weekend and during the week too, we're out in the community, we're at farmers markets, we're at community events, we're hosting our own events, we're at festivals, etc. And we're talking to community members one on one, someone you pass by on the street, and talking to them about why tutoring and mentoring is important, but also how they can get involved as volunteers. And so we connect these community members with these different programs. And for me, being here for the past 3 years and having been part of this work, especially someone who isn't native to the area, I
Mhm.
think the power of mentorship transcends borders and it transcends language, it transcends experience. I am a mentor in DC. Other people are mentoring me here, and so it's I think the work that we're doing is essential, really. And yeah, I've it's been an honor for me to be part of it these past years.
Tanisha, same thing. P31 Girls Incorporated. What's the genesis of that organization and what does it do?
So we started 5 years ago, and today we are one of the partners of Prince George's County Public Schools, where we partner with the school system here to provide on-campus mentoring programs, STEM programs, college prep, and all of those things. And our program has changed as the community has changed. We've had the opportunity to work with State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy with a diversion piece where we work with first time female offenders. So we've been in that work. Currently, we are also partnering with Starbucks here in Prince George's County, where we offer a Saturday club day free of charge where girls can come enjoy STEM activities, STEM exploration, career and college prep and exploration, as well as mentoring. We have a great partnership with Miss DC Scholarship Organization, where we pull a lot of our mentors from there. We pull mentors from GW, from University of Maryland, from Bowie State University. And the bulk of our work really is around helping young ladies to regain their voice, to be advocates for themselves, to equip them with the tools academically, emotionally, and physically to thrive. And so I agree with Salzman. This is an amazing work that we're doing. I am not just a mentee. I'm not just a mentor. I'm also a mentee. And so I think it kind
Mhm.
of goes hand in hand. This work is really about creating a space for the younger version of myself. You know,
Mm.
what could I have used to help me have a more stronger foundation academically, emotionally, physically, psychologically, all the things. And so I take a lot of pleasure and joy in doing this work and being a part of the Prince George's County school system and helping them to fill the gaps. Because with so many budget cuts, they need programs like ours to come alongside and really champion the work that they do and help shore up the students.
Let me, Walter, you and
Yeah.
I go way back. We've had this
Mhm.
conversation,
Yes.
so many times, particularly around, um, black boys. But when we're
Yes.
talking about, 100 Black Men of America, you know,
Yes.
just where is that organization now when it comes to mentoring?
Yeah, Harold, thank you for what you do. The 100 Black Men was formed in 1963, Harold, by David Dinkins. I'm sure you've heard of David Dinkins back in the day, and Jesse Jackson and Jesse Robertson, to name a few. And this organization, where it stands today, is we have over 105 chapters across the country. And it's simple. The mission is to improve the quality of life within our communities, to enhance educational and economic opportunities in all African Americans, to educate, to empower our youth, families in our community from 8 to 18. And we do that work all over the country. And we're excited to work with youth to make a difference. We work on financial literacy, health and wellness, education, and mentoring. And this has been a great journey for me being a member of the 100 Black Men of America.
hmm Tanisha, you said something that struck me,
Mhm.
and I wanted you to try to share a little bit about it. The thing that I heard, you said helping girls regain their voice. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
So, for example, recently I had a sixth grade young girl who was having issues with one of her teachers. And she was really upset when she came to the session. I asked her what was going on. And she went on to tell me that he addresses her as Guy or Mister, and she is a girl. Clearly, she's a girl. And so I asked her, how do you feel about that? And she said, I don't like it. I'm a girl. Now, that really broke my heart because this is a young lady that I have been mentoring for several months. She has struggled with confidence. She's struggled with her own issues around beauty and being attractive. She's at that age now where you are starting to take interest in boys and clubs and all of those things. And you're looking at peers and you don't feel that you have um, the hairstyle or the clothes or, all the things that, most teenagers are into. And so to have her teacher address her as Mr. or a guy was very hurtful. And so
hmm
I asked her, um, how can I support you? What can I do? And so that's what I mean when I said really helping these young ladies to have a voice, to be able to advocate for themselves. And I asked, how can I support her? I said, can we get the counselor involved? Can we get the principal involved? No, don't do that. Um, it'll only make things worse. I'm fine, I'm fine. And I looked her straight in the eyes. I said, that is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is not okay. I
Yeah.
said, you are a girl, your name is Princess,
Mm.
and that's how you should be addressed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Harold,
And
Harold, if I can comment, I think we have different issues now as it relates to youth. Society has a different pressure point. And Tanisha's perspective, as mentors, we have to kind of navigate and pivot accordingly. So I think
yeah,
we have to be open to uh, moms raising two boys. It's just a different world we live in. So as
yeah,
mentors, you know, right, Tanisha, we have to kind of be able to pivot accordingly to be open to these type of situations.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the world looks different now.
Hmm.
And the challenges that we faced behind closed doors are on Front Street.
Hmm.
It's right before our eyes. And so it's very challenging, particularly for young girls between um, 12 and 14 years old, that sixth, seventh, eighth grade, that transitional time before they go into high school. They're really trying to find their own identity. They're trying to discover and hone in on their own uniqueness, skills, gifts, talents, all of those things. And so when you have um, the adults in spaces that are supposed to help facilitate
Hmm.
that growth and development in a safe way, and they betray that. And then most young people are taught that you cannot disagree with adults or you cannot question. And so I think it's important for us as mentors to also give them the tools to advocate for themselves in those spaces, not just with their peers, but with adults to say, hey, that's not okay. This doesn't feel good. And really encourage them to mitigate those challenges through whatever system that's available to them. In her case, it was a school counselor, a vice principal, things like that. So it's important because we don't want our young girls to feel powerless. We don't want them to feel voiceless, like their voice doesn't matter. We see you, we hear you, and your voice matters.
Yeah. Todd, let me ask you, w- what youth do you serve?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, we don't directly serve youth, and so in that way, we serve all the youth of DC, specifically in the DC metro area. Again, because we directly connect volunteers and community members with
Mm.
programs like P31 Girls or like the 100 Black Men of America. We are connecting people with these programs so that they can become these adults who are serving these youth directly. So I'd say that the scope of our work has reached, I'd hope and imagine is hundreds and hundreds of kids, if not thousands, across the city. But yeah, it's students from all the way from elementary, pre-K aged even all the way to high school, sometimes even beyond for programs that provide mentoring support and career guidance for, youth beyond the age of 18 or beyond the age of 21. So it really is a spectrum of youth.
Kind of like a conduit to other
Yeah.
organizations that
Exactly.
that need those mentors, resources, etc.
Absolutely, which makes our interactions with youth, especially for me, all that much more meaningful. I'm thinking of, the people that I hear stories about, I hear stories from about their interactions with their mentee or the student that they're working with, and it is heartwarming to say the least when I hear about a mentor who I actually recently met at Mayor Bowser's Fresh Start 5K at the start of this
Hmm.
year. I ran into someone who I was trying to, talk to about tutoring or mentoring, and he stopped and said, "I've actually been mentoring for the past 20 years with Horton's Kids, which is actually a
Hmm.
program that we serve." And, we had an amazing conversation about the impact that he feels that he's had in his youth's life. And we're actually hopefully going to be featuring him on some of our platforms. But it's stories and people like Jack, who was the volunteer I spoke with, who I really get to hear about impact on youth from.
Let me quickly, before I go to a break, ask each of you to share your your contact information, website, phone number, what have you. Tull, if you don't mind, go ahead.
Absolutely. So our website is dctutormentor.org. Our direct line is 202-688-1261. And our social media platforms are DC Tutor Mentor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, our website is 100blackmen.org, 100blackmen.org.
Okay. And Tanisha, real quick.
So it's p31girls.org. You can also reach us at 240-524-2107. And we are active on Instagram at p31girls Inc.
Wonderful. And as always, I'll be putting that information up on our website later on this evening during the on WHUR.com. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. The Original Quiet Storm with Raheem Devon is next on WHUR-FM. This conversation continues on Sirius XM channel 141 in just a few seconds. Welcome back to the Daily Drum on Sirius XM channel 141. I'm Harold Fisher. We continue our conversation about National Mentoring Month. My guests are Tanisha Miles, founder and executive director of P31 Girls Incorporated, Walter Kirkland with the 100 Black Men of America, and Tull Osman, outreach director for the DC Tutoring and Mentoring Initiative. I do want to talk a little bit more about the approach to mentoring the different or challenging situations. And again, I go to you, Walter, because you have been involved for so long, and so I think you have that 30,000 foot kind of view of how the landscape of tutoring has changed, the responsibilities, as well as some of the difficult issues that perhaps were not a consideration 20 years ago.
Harold, profound, Harold. You know what we're trying to create, Harold, is hope. The biggest thing I hear out there, and I'm sure the ladies will agree, is young people feel overstimulated and they have no hope. Correct, Tanisha?
Correct. That's right.
And they don't, Harold, they don't have a solution. We tell them what to do, Harold, but we don't tell them how to do it. We need to coach them. We need to mold them and set them up for success. So this is one reason why I'm running for Congress. I think we need to bring in AI and workforce development and other mental type things, because the stress is crazy in terms of mental health. Suicide right now from 8 to 29 is the highest in the country for Black boys. I'm sure you know that, Harold.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. So tying in mentoring and coaching, it gives the young people hope about where to go and how to go. And that is the biggest thing I hear from my 15 years of mentoring. And we got to find ways to connect that gap with this overstimulation. So I would say those are the things we need to focus on: is mental health, job creation, and workforce development.
So, Tull, when you are connecting with other organizations, what are you looking for in those organizations? I'm sure because there are so many out there that there has to be there's got to be a screening process. There isn't certainly a one size fits all.
Yeah, absolutely. There are definitely practicalities that we look for, of course, alongside, who are you serving and how, in what capacity, who is making sure that, your volunteers are being connected with youth, and what does that process look like? We talk about all of these things beforehand, before we establish a partnership. On the practical side, which is still very important, we make sure, as I mentioned, that there is someone who can be a facilitator, who a student can go to, who a volunteer can go to, whether it's them mentoring, a student for college application support, or sports-based mentorship relationship, or a tutoring type of situation. We ensure, of course, that every organization we work with can conduct a background check and that all volunteers we connect with them are screened just to make sure that they are at least, adults that on paper can be trusted. And that I'd say those are kind of the main practicalities that we screen for. And then of course their mission, they're serving DC youth, they're serving community members. A lot of these organizations are supporting, low income households or kids who are coming from disadvantaged communities. A lot of them are supporting kids who are excited about the future and have a lot of passion, have a lot of enthusiasm, and need an extra adult in their life to watch out for them, to encourage them where maybe their parents are busy working, or maybe they have absent parents, or they could just use someone who understands them more than others do. So yeah, these are all the things that we look for.
Tanisha, Tal just said needing an extra adult. I am sure that even as a mentor is welcome for so many families, I'm also sure that some parents may feel intimidated, perhaps, by the help that a mentor is offering. How do you address that?
So I know that exists, but
Mm-hmm.
that has not been my experience. My experience has been more so of me keeping the parents' head in the game.
What do you mean by that?
Because we have such a great, connected, passionate, caring team of mentors that works with P31 girls, that parents sometimes will unconsciously begin to relinquish their authority and wanting the mentors to be the authority figure or the decision maker, because just because of the relationship. And we do such an amazing job, and they can see that we really do care about their children. And so for me, my experience has really been coaching the parents, keeping the parents' head in the game, letting them know that we come alongside you. We are not here to take your place. We're here as partners. And so it takes some massaging, but to Walter's point, it's not just the children that are facing stress and behavioral health issues. It's mom and dad, it's grandma, whoever's raising the child. And so when you have a mentor that comes alongside, it's a breath of fresh air. And so I've not found that they are intimidated. More so, it is a prayer answered. They've been waiting for someone to take interest, to help support their young person. So that's not been my experience, although I know that it exists.
And that's what I was asking, because obviously you have the skill set to make sure that parents feel comfortable, but apparently there is something that you are doing to make sure that the parent isn't feeling uncomfortable, isn't feeling intimidated, and the like. And are you prepared for that one time, perhaps in the future, where the parent is like, yeah, I don't know about this Tanisha chick over here. I don't know about what's going on with her. I'm the mama.
Hey, Harold, what I want to dovetail.
Well, I wanted her to respond to that real quick, Walter, and then then you can pick up.
Prepared? It's a day one. It's a day one. It's all in how you introduce yourself and how you bring the parent alongside every step of the way. And so while they can turn on me, Harold, and say, Miss Tanisha, what are you doing here?
I don't see that happening, but still.
I am just confident that what we are doing in our approach to partnering with parents and keeping them at the forefront of the decision making with their children, respecting them, it works.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my answer. I don't anticipate anyone giving me, the side eye. I think that we have found a rhythm that works for us, and the emails, the text messages that we receive support that.
Yeah. You were going to say something, Walter?
Yeah, what I wanted to dovetail is that when you're authentic, and you guys agree with me, the parents know, the kids know. It's the tone and the tenor. And when you have a professionalism and you're very authentic, that's the key that solidifies that relationship. And when that mentee believes in you, and he or she will take it to the next step. They know, they can see right through you, Harold, when you're not authentic. And we on this call all feel that way. It's just in our heart to mentor and to rise above. So that's the key right there.
It's hard work. Yeah, exactly.
The other thing to that point, Walter, we're talking in, now, 2026, or even 2025. In your experience, what is it that these boys need most beyond academics? Because obviously every parent wants their child to thrive academically, but I'm sure there are other needs, particularly as it relates to Black boys, which are equally important. What are those things?
I think it's a transition. We mentioned this earlier, Harold. They need to be able to transition from high school to the workplace. They think these jobs are going to fall out the sky. It's not going to fall out the sky. You got to create, and you know what the challenge is? Many don't know how to market themselves, whether they're a plumber, a doctor, a lawyer, a salesperson. We have to teach them how to market themselves. There's a thing that I do. It's an elevator speech of, in the first, and you know this, Harold, in the first 60 seconds, people make a determination if they want to even talk to you. So we got to create a sense of urgency. I'm sure you ladies will agree. The young people don't have a sense of urgency to take it to the next step. So we have to create that in that transition from high school to the next step. And you don't have to be a PhD. You could be a plumber. Plumbers are never going to go away. Make that transformation, but have the talk track, the elevator speech, to make it engaging to that end user, that next person, no matter where you are. That is the biggest challenge that we need to transfer to these youth as it relates to mentoring, in my opinion.
Walter, did you ever have a mentor as a kid that was not a member of your family?
Wow, good question. You won't believe this, but in New York City, I'm from Money Earned in Mount Vernon. I had a mentor I used to caddy. My first job, Harold, was a golf caddy. And I had a mentor back in Mount Vernon that would mentor me, who was of white persuasion, that gave me a lot of stuff when my father wasn't around. And it really kind of gave me the foundation of who I am today without having a dad in my home. Yeah.
Well, I've seen your golf game, so I guess that worked. But
thank you, Harold. It did work.
Yes. What specifically did he teach you?
You know what he taught me is commitment, being on time, and believe it or not, sense of urgency. If you have an appointment at 12 o'clock, get there 11:45. And if you're there at 12:01, then that's an issue. Being on time, sense of urgency, and be ready, Harold. The most important thing that we can take away today, have our youth ready. Because in life, it's so competitive now, you got to be ready. And if you're not ready, you could lose that person eye contact in 30 seconds. But if you're ready, sky's the limit. That was the most important thing that I learned.
Well, what about you, Tal? Did you have a mentor who was not a member of your family as a minor, as a girl?
Not a member of my family, no, actually. And I think what part of it is because I didn't grow up here in the United States. I grew up in the United Arab Emirates. That's where I was born and raised. And so at least around that time, these programs that I'm seeing here that I'm just in awe of were not really a thing back there. You didn't really, have a program that you went into where you were assigned a mentor or someone who was kind of guiding you through life. And there are several structural reasons for that. I was very lucky, though, to be growing up in a household where I did have built-in mentors who were consistently there for me. And I think for me, that just pushes me even more to advocate for mentorship and for the presence of adults or of caring adults in any youth's life. That's something that I try to do for my younger cousins who are still back there, and for like the youth that I interact with here. But me personally, I did not have a mentor growing up.
So, with that said, and that brings in another interesting dynamic to this conversation for you personally, not having it as a girl, not knowing that it was a thing, and then coming to the United States and as you said, being involved only for the past 3 years. What is the thing that has struck you the most, that when you see the needs, the mentoring needs of young people?
You know, sometimes to me, it feels like they need a friend. They need someone who's on their side and who won't judge them. And when I look back at my time growing up and who I can look to as a mentor within my family, I think that was a big part of it too, was at the end of the day, these are people who wanted the best for you and who are watching out for you, someone that you can go to when you are unsure about something new, whether it is, you know, for me, it was applying for colleges, or I had a falling out with a best friend, or whatever it might be. Yeah, I really think that what I see here is a way for a youth to connect with someone who maybe isn't part of their family, but can see them in a way that they really feel seen and feel like they're not being judged, and someone they could just talk to.
Of course, Tanisha, I wanted to ask that same question. What has been your mentee experience as a girl?
So as a girl, that was not even a part of my vocabulary.
Hmm.
Um, it wasn't until I became a mom that that became a part of my vocabulary. Um, did I have mentors? Yes, but they weren't identified as such.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't realize that they were mentors until I became a mom, because that just wasn't a part of my vocabulary. Um, but as a mentee, I am a person who believes that everyone needs someone to journey with, to help support them, to invite them into rooms, spaces, and opportunities, to give them access um, to things that are not at their fingertips. And so I have benefited from amazing mentors. And because of that, um, it's important to me that I create that same pathway for girls coming behind me.
Hmm.
And so, as I mentioned before, this for me is 1000% hard work, not hard work. It's hard work that I love. I think that every young person, boy or girl, needs someone to help introduce, invite, advocate for them, um, help them to be curious, help them to develop, help them to stretch, help them to be the best version of themselves, to give them hope. They need to see themselves in someone else. And so it's important to reach back to those communities, those places and spaces where we've come from, to let them know that um, I was once where you are, and I'm the hope. I when you see me, I am the hope. When I walk
Mm.
into a session, I tell the young girls on day one, when you see me, you see yourself. And so as far as I have risen, you can at least go that far and beyond. And so we are the hope, and Walter's right. They don't have hope. We have a hopeless generation, and it's only getting more challenging with um, the current challenges of where we are politically and economically. All of these things play a part. And when you have young people that come from challenging and traumatic backgrounds and situations, and I tell adults, your children have the same needs that you have. They have dreams, they have aspirations. You get hungry, they get hungry. You want a hug, they need a hug. And so I think right now being a mentor is critical. It's critical to really wrap our arms around these young people to let them know that hope exists. And when we show up in the room, we are that hope realized.
Walter, let me ask you this. When you talk about the practical side of being a mentor, what kind of commitment is expected of a mentor for 100 Black men?
Yeah, whatever it takes, Harold, within reason, you have to take care of your family. But you know what happens? You get so entrenched with these youth, the relationships go from 8 years old to 25 years old.
Yeah.
I love when I get the calls, Mr. Kirkland, that I'm actually working in an internship with the NBA, or I'm a lawyer on Wall Street. So it really takes, and what happens is, and I'm sure you all agree on this line, you don't think about the time. They become extended family. So you almost call them on Christmas, spend time with their family. And sometimes you travel with them. So it's really your commitment, what you can handle bandwidth wise, but actually you make time for what you want to do within reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but for those who are wholly unfamiliar with the process and they decide that they want to do something good for a kid, whether it's a woman who wants to mentor a 10-year-old girl, or a guy who wants to mentor a 14-year-old boy, but they've not done it. I mean, and as you said, whether they have families or other extensive commitments outside of this process, I mean, is there an amount of time that they're expected to spend? What about money that they may need to spend, or other kinds of investment?
I think you will mentor where you can, because it can be very powerful. A 1-hour session with a youth could be powerful twice a week. You can go to a game. You can go to their school prom. Just the presence of you being there, and they see your eyes, Harold, gives them confidence at a football game that you're there. I coach a track team, a national track team. And when the youth see me there, they perform better. So it really predicates the situation, how old the child is, but it could be 1 hour a week. It could be 6 hours a week. It really depends on the situation with that child or what's going on in their life. Also, it depends on how resourceful the parents are, how engaged the parents are. You have an example of a single parent, or you may have two parents, but most times we see it's a single parent trying to do the right thing.
Tal, what do you think makes a good mentor?
Oh, save the tough questions for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think Harold. I think Walter kind of spoke to this, which is consistency. You need to be consistent. It's not about being there every, for 6 hours a day and being there for every single thing, but it's the fact that you are there consistently, and that you're there authentically. You're showing that you care. You are there because you want to be, not because you have to be. Kids can tell the difference. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from interacting with youth, is kids can tell when you want to be there and when you don't want to. So I'd say consistency is key. And again, I think Walter pointed out, but 1 hour a week, something that, part of our main pitch when we're speaking with community members and trying to talk to them about the importance of getting involved, we'll always say, the minimum ask is 1 to 2 hours a week. All these programs have different, periods of time. You can commit to mentoring for 6 months, you can commit to it for a year, but the importance is that whatever commitment you've made, you're consistent in it and you're authentic.
I'm running out of time, but Tanisha, I wanted to let you kind of have the last word for someone who wants to be a mentor, but more importantly, someone who in that space wants to have an impact, wants to do good for a child, to have the potential to change their life, but are not sure whether or not they have the chutzpah, the intestinal fortitude to commit. What, how do you get them over the line to say you can do this, you should do this?
So it's a bite-sized experience. I think Walter kind of led with that. Each individual has to determine their own capacity, and it also has to align with program needs. Specifically for P31 girls, our commitment for our mentors is a minimum of 4 hours a month for 9 weeks. And so that's what we ask you to commit to. There are opportunities when you can have one-offs for special events and things like that. If you are someone that is interested, looking to get involved in mentoring, you're halfway there. Just the fact that you have the desire to do it, you're halfway there. Do your research. Look for programs that align with your own personal beliefs, skill set, and time, your availability. Look for programs, because as much as we are matching mentors to our young people, the mentors should also be doing some research on their own based on, what program fits them. If you are a tech person, then you probably don't want to join a program that's doing a lot of outdoor camping, right? You don't want to do that. So you want to look at where your strengths are, what your interests are, and what your availability is. Do your research. There is a great need for mentors. I don't think that anyone would turn you away. Like I said, we have situations where we do allow individuals to work with us for special events, those that can't make that 4-hour commitment. But if you are interested, you are halfway there. Just do your research and look for a program that fits your availability, skill set, passions, and things like that.
I want to thank you all so much for spending some time with me today, talking about this really important practice. You're not just helping kids along. I would argue that in some cases you are actually saving lives and helping to develop fantastic human beings. So again, thank you all so much, Tal Osman, Tanisha Miles, and Walter Kirkland. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank you.
That is the Daily Drum for this Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. I'm Harold Fisher. Good night.